Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We are coming to you from Holyoke, Massachusetts. I am your host, Carrie, and I'm here with our very own historian, Robert Combs. He is our founder and also the tour guide of the Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke. He offers both public and private tours of the local canal systems, reservoirs, cemeteries, as well as various parks and streets in Holyoke, Mass., South Hadley, and Chicopee. You can check out his website for more information at holyokecanaltour.org. There he has videos, past and present photos, as well as 2023 schedule. Today we will be talking about the Vietnam Veterans Bridge. So tell us about the South Hadley side of the bridge tour.
Alright, so when we take this bridge tour, we actually start out right below the South Hadley Library, and we go into what's called Riverside Park. And that's where you can see the lock system of the South Hadley Navigational Canal. And you get to see also where the three mills were. I tell you about these three mills, and also their worker housing across the street. The mills were the Glasgow, the Hampshire, and the Carew. The Carew lasted 100 years, 1848 to 1948. And the reason why I tell you more than just a bridge, because you know a bridge, you got to understand both neighborhoods on both sides. You have to understand why they would make bridges there. And then we walk down Main Street of South Hadley. We passed St. Patrick's Church, and of course that has a lot of history to it. And then finally we come to the start of the bridge. And at the start of the bridge, I'm able to show them where the South Hadley Canal came in, where they had extra lock put in, and then they start to see the Connecticut River on the other side. So it's best on the way out to pass over the side of the bridge that points towards the Holyoke Dam. You can see the most important part of the bridge as you go along. And then you work yourself to the middle, and that's the next question.
Okay, now describe what one sees from the bridge.
Okay, so once you're in the middle of the bridge, you can see an incredible sight. There's Mount Tom Range in the background. There's in front of you the Holyoke Dam, which is 1,000 feet across, and you'll see at least one, most times two, and on rare occasions 3 spillways going. They have to, by federal law, allow some of the water to keep going through so that the life forms on the downside of the river, downside of the dam, can inhabit the area in a very similar way that they would have naturally. It's never going to be natural because you're blocking a 30-foot drop, falls right there. It's called the Hadley Falls. And they used to have a different form of life, but at least you have some forms of life going on both sides. What you can also see is on side closer to Holyoke, you'll see the channel that comes out of the turbine center. And there's 2 turbines. We call it the Hadley Falls Turbine 1 and 2. And the turbine 1 was made in 1952, and they had to make a channel. It looks like it's part of the Connecticut River, but it actually isn't. They had to blast into the rock and make the appearance of the river greater. The reason why the turbines are up to 40 feet under the ground. And so they had to allow the water to come out from that turbine. And so that channel is 40 feet deep, which is much deeper than the natural floor of the river itself. So it's a beautiful sight on this side. And if you want to spend any time, just stop there, looking at aquatic life or looking at bird life. It's right from the middle of the dam, of the bridge looking towards the dam.
Now tell us about the side of the bridge in Holyoke.
Okay, on the Holyoke side, you see the second level canal of the Holyoke Canal System. This one is a level that is 20 feet lower than the first level, and its water comes from the upper part of the Holyoke Dam. The Holyoke Dam is there initially to divert water into the Holyoke Canal System, and so you get to see that level. Now, if you look towards your right as you go over the bridge, you'll see the Hadley Mill, which is still operating, both on the right and left side of the canal. You'll see it both operating. And that's great. And in the distance, you also see some of the worker housing and that belonged to the Hadley mills. You also get to see, if you have sharp eyes, up Canal Street towards the northwest, you'll see the Boatlock Station, where, among other things, they have a spillway, and among other things, they have a turbine center. So the canal has turbines too. Not only does the dam have its own turbines. Now you can cross the street at this point, and when you do cross the street, off to your right-hand side when you're crossing is the old trolley station. So there was trolley tracks throughout Holyoke, maybe up to, if you count all they owned by the end, maybe up to 80 miles of tracks. They're all gone, but the trolley barn is right in front of you. Now, when you're on the other side, you get to see the other side of the second level canal. And there, the only mill that's left, and there used to be 6 paper mills in a row here, is one paper mill called the Valley Paper Mill. That's the only one left. But you can see in some of the pictures I have on the site that there's other mills used to be. The Crocker and the Albion were also here. And if you go along the edge of the parking lot that's along the very side of the Valley Paper Mill, there's a big sign, and it's for the bridge that was there beforehand. So the Vietnam Bridge, Veterans Bridge, was put in 1981. But before that, for 120 years, there was the County Bridge. And they have on both sides of the bridge the green upper sign that explains what that bridge was. And you get to read that on your own. It tells you it was made in New Jersey, so forth, and brought up here. Now you can get onto the bridge, and this time you're walking on the sidewalks that's going to face downstream. And it's much quieter. You'll see the channel. You also see below you to the right that there was put in a fishing spot for handicapped people, and they have a ramp going down to that. Okay, and now it's a great walk, and what you should do at this point is just enjoy yourself. There's less and less as you go along to see, but if you use my webpage, and if you use the videos for this associated tour, or if you take one of my Vietnam Veterans tours, you should be able to see quite a bit. Thank you.
Now, describe the bridges that have preceded this one.
Okay, now there's been 3 bridges in this place. I believe the first one is from like 1868, and it lasted maybe 10 years. And people said it was a shaky bridge. They go over with a horse. There's no cars. You go over a horse, and they'd have to station police officers on both sides, and the bridge would start to shake if the horse is going too fast. And they'd fine people if they're going too fast because they knew that the bridge might shake and fall down. So that was, most people call it the old County Bridge, and the new one came after 10 years of that bridge, and that was called the County Bridge. And that was a truss bridge, which is a bridge that has, beams going across horizontally, but it also has structures going up into the air at diagonals. And this means that the weight of the bridge's roadway is held up from above by metal beams coming down. And if you want to think about what it looks like, it's very similar to what the Willimantic Bridge looks like. The Willimantic Bridge was built maybe a decade later, but it's a very similar look to it. And then by the year 1981, they took that out and they replaced that with what's there now, which is the Vietnam Veterans Bridge. And it connects South Hadley Falls with the flat section of Holyoke. It's been around for 32 years, so it still has not gotten to the stage they need major repairs, but it's still a great bridge to have. Thank you.
No, thank you, Robert, for joining us. And you can find more information again on his tours and more podcasts on his website at holyokecanaltour.org. And there again, you can find some of his videos, check out his photos from past and present, and also his upcoming tour schedule for 2023. You can also set up private tours with him as your personal tour guide. They make for fun and educational activities for the family, or for group parties that are, for special occasions and events, or just a day out. You can email him directly for that at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. Again, that's BOBCAT4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. Thank you. Thank you for listening and joining us. I'm Carrie, and I'm here with Robert, who does the historical tours of Greater Holyoke. He offers both public and private tours of the local canal systems, reservoirs, and cemeteries, as well as various parks and streets in Holyoke and also Chicopee and South Hadley, Mass. You can find out more information in his different tours, on his website at holyokecanaltours.org, where you can also check out some of his videos and research, and also keep an eye for his upcoming 2023 tour schedule. You can also set up private tours with him as your personal tour guide, which are great for fun and educational activities for the family or just for yourself. He offers private group parties that are perfect for gifts for special occasions and events, or just something new and fun to do with friends. You can email him directly at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. Also, check in for our other weekly podcasts on his other individual tours. Thank you, Robert, for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about the Vietnam Veterans Bridge. Now, why would a tour person enjoy this bridge tour?
Well, it starts off at the South Hadley Library, which is on Canal Street in South Hadley, and we go into the parks that are right below it. They were made by Holyoke Gas and Electric. They're called the Riverside Parks, and it consists of 3 parks there. And it's a beautiful system because the first one, Gatehouse Park, you can see the 2 gatehouses, of course, that are very old, but you can see the apron of the 1900 dam. And when you walk in there, the apron is well above your height. So you walk in and you look like you're enclosed in the system. And then right next to it is a walkway that you can get right out close to the spray of the water coming out of the Holyoke Dam. And then the next park in the middle, it's called Texon Park, and there you can walk all the way down to the shoreline, and there you can see the flow of the Connecticut River. You can actually see some of the fishes if you look down below you. And this is where the Texon Mill was at one time. The Texon Mill was taken out about 9 years ago, and this park replaced it. You can see a lot of bird life also as you look out. And you look across the way, you'll be able to see the 2 turbine buildings that belong to the Holyoke Dam, and some of the mills on the side, included the Hadley Mill. Now, if you keep walking along, you get to the last park, and the last park in South Hadley is Lower Riverside Park, and there you can go way down, and you can go to where the old Hampshire Mill and Hamden Mill were. And it's incredible because you can see more bird life down there, and you can also see right at the beginning of it the 5 lock systems of the whole old South Hadley Navigational Canal. Now you keep going, you go onto the bridge, about a half-mile walk. You go out to the middle, you can see the beautiful dam and the water coming over and the spillways. You can see the channel made for the 2 turbines. And then you keep walking across and you get to see the canal on the Holyoke side. The Holyoke Canal system was started in 1847. It's younger than the South Hadley Canal, but it's a 3-level canal. You can see the levels of it. And then I have my people that are going on a tour go across the street. We get to see the old trolley barn. We get to see the south and east part of the Connecticut River on the other side. And so there's a lot of sights along the way, and it's very, very beautiful. So I suggest to a lot of people to come on a tour.
Okay, now what does Riverside Park of South Hadley have to offer?
The Riverside Park has to offer a lot of people a view of the South Hadley Navigational Canal as it comes through from its start. So you can see the 5 locks, like as I mentioned, and I get to explain to people how the lock system worked, where the water was coming from. It came from the Connecticut River by pumps, and then as the boat was lifted up in each lock, it went to the next one. Once it was into the 5th lock, then it was free to go up about 150 yards to where the dams were, and there it had one more lock, and that was to get up to the water level for that day, right above the dams. The wooden dam was there from 1848 to 1900, and still is below the water, and the masonry dam is there since 1900. So in Riverside Parks, you can see the old canal system, and as I mentioned, if you go on down to the water's edge anywhere, you can see fish and birds, and great view of all the masonry stones fitted together to make that Holyoke Dam. So I suggest that you go there during the months that it's open, and the time that it's open. It's open from May 1st to about lately November 1st, and it's also open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and you get to see lots of sights.
Now, would this tour be of interest to young people?
Young people would like it because you get beautiful sights of the Connecticut River on both sides. You get both a comparison of the Holyoke Canal and the Hadley Canal. One was mostly for navigation, and the other one in Holyoke was all for power. What a great difference. And you also get to see a contrast on that bridge between the two lifestyles that must have held forth. One, South Hadley had some mills, but there were only a few mills. Holyoke had at least 60, maybe up to 70 or 80 mills going at any given time, and so it was quite the difference between the two communities. And so people get to see that difference, and young people appreciate the views, and they appreciate the big changes these communities must have gone through. And yet there's still similarities. People that lived in South Hadley actually went to Holyoke every day to work. People that wanted to shop went to Holyoke every day. So this bridge, its predecessor called the Old County Bridge, got used a lot, and a lot of people would fill up Holyoke every day. So, next question.
Now, why did you develop this tour?
The reason why I developed it is because there was a tour page sheet available from someone who had a grant from the Sahalee Cultural Council. They made a map with 4 routes on it. One of the routes was in Sahalee Falls Cemetery. Another route was up High Street and down North Main Street to see architecture of buildings. Another route was to start at the Riverside Park and go upwards to the north to see the remnants of the old Sahalee Canal system. And the last one was to start at the library and go across the Vietnam Veterans Bridge. And once you were there, you could see the canal system, or when the fishway was open, you can go into that drive and see the fish lift. The fish lift is for viewers that go there between May 1st and around mid-June. So it's only open a little bit during the year, but it's well worth the sights. And so you can actually go for a walk in May and June, go to the fish lift inside, and then come back with a beautiful walk on the other side of that bridge, and you get all the highlights of this great tour.
Now, so where is it best to start this tour?
Now, you can start anywhere, and I know that it's going to attract South Hadley people and Holyoke people, so I made it such that you can start on the Holyoke side with the canal systems. You can start on either side of the bridge that you care. Just go to my website and you'll find the Vietnam Veterans Bridge there under available tours. And once you go there, you can go either clockwise or a counterclockwise direction, and you can go to the next community. So if you start in Holyoke, you can go to South Hadley and go to Riverside Park and see where the old Sahalee Canal is, and then go back. Or you can start in South Hadley, anywhere you want to along the tour, and then take your time, see the bridge, see the dam, see the Holyoke Canal, and then go back. So the great part about this tour, there's no definite starting point.
Okay, well, thank you for talking about that with us. And again, this is Robert from the Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke. And you can find out more information on his website at holyokecanaltours.org. And also, you can email him on his direct email, which is bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. Again, that's BOBCAT 4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. Thank you, and we hope to have you with us at our next podcast.